Last week we talked about paper sculptures and we learned different ways to use the paper to make it come off of the page. This week your task is to make a robot, and you can use these techniques to make your robot, or you can use any other techniques that you have. Additionally, it does not have to be a paper sculpture. If you want to make it out of milk cartons or out of egg boxes, whatever it is that you might want to use to make your robot, you can. Now, this video will show you different techniques that I used on mine. Here's my little guy. I'll show you how I made the head so that way it's a cone shape rather than a flat shape. I'll show you how I glued the paper together to make it so there's spots for my arms to come out of. I'll show you how I cut slits in there so the arms can fit in. I will also show you how I connected the head to the rest of the body as well as the legs, just to give you some ideas on what to do. Remember, this is an example of what you can make, but it is not what you have. Let me show you some of the things that I did for my robot. Remember, your robot does not have to look like mine. It does not even have to be a paper sculpture, but I'm going to show you some of the techniques that we learned about last time and how I'm applying it to it this time. So for my arms and my legs, I am using this braided chain. If you forgot how to do that, let me just show you really quick. I'm going to make another arm. I'm using thin pieces of paper for the arms, and I'm using thick pieces of paper for the legs. Also, you'll see that for the legs, I glued 2 pieces of paper to make it longer. I'm also using the length of the width of the arms to make the neck. And I think this might actually end up being a neck. We'll see. So I want to start by using some of that glue and gluing my 2 pieces together across like this. So you're making a corner. Fold over and over. All I'm doing is I take my purple and fold it straight across. Then I take my orange, fold it straight across. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. Now for the body, I'm going to go ahead and use almost like an envelope technique. I want to start by cutting it by folding it in half. So my body is going to be this length. To give it 3 dimensions, I'm going to use a little trick of folding paper in. But I'm also going to be gluing my arms into the sides of here, which means I need a little hole right here. So before I go too far, I'm going to very gently, without making any crease lines, fold my paper like this. There we go. Right about there, I'm just going to cut a little slit. Bonk. And now I have a hole for my arm to fit into. Okay? Now on this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this piece of paper in just a little bit. And I'm going to do the same type of fold on the other side. Okay? So I have a fold here and a fold here. My glue is going to go on this line right here, this little small space on the very edge of the fold line. Okay. Now I'm going to take one of my arms that I had, and I want it to actually have a little bit of a loop at the end. Do you see that? Because that is what's going to go inside of the body. So I'm going to use that to anchor the arm into the body. I can do the same thing for the legs later. When I go to put my legs on, that's how I did my legs. That's also how I did my neck. So on this side, I need to do the same thing. Find a little bit of a loop. I can even fold this side down like this. And look at that. It kind of holds itself that way. This side, I'm going to put a little bit more. Oh, just kidding. I'm not going to put it there. I messed up. Watch what we're going to do instead. We're going to stick this piece, this extra piece that's hanging off from my arm, and I'm going to go underneath my paper and stick it through that hole we made earlier. Now I'm going to glue this onto the inside of my robot. Hold it there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I can go back over to this edge here, take my 2 folds, make my 2 folds touch each other, line up those fold lines nice and well, and hold down really tight. This is holding the whole robot together, so I've got to make sure that that is really stuck tight together. Guys and girls, look at my robot body. And now I can kind of do that, and he's three-dimensional. He's sticking out just like that. Okay? If I want to add a head, now I could make the head right here, or I can add a head on top. And I want my head not to just be a circle. I want it to be three-dimensional as well. I'm going to show you a really easy way to do that. Just cut a line almost to the middle or even to the middle. It doesn't matter if it's exact or not. And then my glue goes next to that cut line, just on one side. Okay? Then I take this piece and I put it on top of the glue. And I hold that for a good amount of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That paper is going to want to pull apart. So I have to be extra careful that it doesn't pull apart. Now, when we already made a neck. So I could have a neck and I can connect it in like that. And that would look really fun and cool. Plus the neck would wobble around and he would kind of move. If I don't want to do that, I can glue it together just like this, stick it inside, but then that kind of makes my robot flat. So another thing I can do is I can use my slats. Remember this, how we cut those slats in? And I can even take that and I can just slip it right on like this and glue it down. Or I could cut slats into here. What do you think? I don't like it that way. I liked it this way better. So I am just going to pretend I didn't make that mistake. I'm going to let it be not a mistake. But I could glue it on just like this. Okay? There's lots of different ways that you can use the sculpture technique. This is just one of those ways. Okay? Now, let's say I went, oh, I didn't like that too much. I don't think I want that there. Watch what I'm going to do to turn my mistake into not a mistake. This is going to be great. Ready? He has hair now. My robot now has hair. Okay? So, go ahead, make those robots. Do them as cool and as crazy as you would like them to be. Remember, you don't have to use just paper. You can use whatever things you have in your household to make your own robot.